It has been called the premier haunt event in the country. Wait, the world. And right now it's in full swing on both coasts here in the U.S. This week we take you inside Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights and compare the Hollywood event to the one in Orlando. Which one's better? Does it matter? Plus we have all the scary news of the week this week on The Scare Guy Show.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movie.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week to The Scare Guys Show. This is the month of October. This is when all the spooky stuff is happening, and we know you've got a lot of stuff to be doing, so thank you for following us, liking us, paying attention to us, watching us, and sharing us with your friends. My name is Jim. I'm the managing editor here at thescareguy.com, and also here on The Scare Guys Show. You can find me all over the internet at James D. Fry. Where can we find you guys?
Hi guys, I'm Katie, and I am, I guess, the final girl because it's a Scare Guy show.
You are?
So yeah, I'm excited to be here. So yeah.
And I'm Cheeseman on the couch. That's Cheeseman in the chair this time. Usually I'm on the couch, but I am here in the spotlight here tonight at the table. But train wreck. It's already going bad. But I'm here with the scareguy.com.
And he's up here at the table because we are the three people who have been to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights enough times to consider ourselves experts. And so tonight we are going to talk all about Halloween Horror Nights because we know it's one of the most popular, one of my favorite, one of the favorites of fans everywhere, one of their favorite haunt events in the country. So we are super excited to be talking about that. And we're going to kind of compare both coasts and see what's the best mazes. And if you guys have any questions, just let us know on the chat or just let us know on social media. We would try to answer those. But first, we do have a little bit of horror news, but before we even get to the horror news, Katie, I just want to congratulate you. You just kind of debuted this week on some new shows. Why don't you tell us about those?
I did the Breaking Bad El Camino movie review.
Fantastic.
Which is now on YouTube. So if you guys have seen El Camino, go check it out. But if you haven't, I suggest seeing it first because it will have some spoilers.
And before we move on...
Yes. I also did on the Batwoman show. So you can catch that at 10 o'clock on Sunday nights.
Fantastic. And just to give us a little teaser, we wanted to ask her, can you give us a little teaser for the El Camino show?
So El Camino, you guys know that my worries were that, continuing the story, it's like, don't mess up what we put in place at the end. Because the finale was pretty perfect, in my opinion. Yep. And it didn't. It was a great continuation of Jesse's story, and it still had the same feel of watching one of the shows, which was nice. So it was just like another episode, but like, hey, here's 6 years later, this is what happened with Jesse. Because, that is the one question you had at the end of the film. Was, what about Jesse? Did he ride off into the sunset, or did he get caught? You don't really know.
It's Breaking Bad.
So, and there was some really great cameos, so you can look out for some cameos in it as well. So.
Cameos from the season?
From the show in general.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah. So if you're a Breaking Bad fan, I definitely recommend it.
Did everybody kind of look somewhat similar to what they did during the show,
or
did some
later.
It's Hollywood.
Some people did not. So,
The best is there was a show called Wet Hot American Summer. They had the movie, but then one of the characters for the TV show gained a lot of weight, and they just went with it. It was kind of almost added a comical element.
Anyways, so Katie, thank you very much for that. We will be watching those shows. We're so proud of Katie, our little girl's growing up, the little final girl. Anyways, we also want to give a little
so
bit...
many applauses this show. Jim, just keep making us look awesome,
Let's hear
Jim, you are an awesome friend.
True.
Boo.
Can we hear a little bit of applause, though, for Ryan Nilsson, who is in the booth. He's the engineer and keeping us running. Hi, Ryan.
How we doing, y'all? Really excited to be
here. You are
here.
just so awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And El Camino. I mean, shout out. I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan. I actually only caught the first half of it so far. But speaking of different look changes, the guy who plays, his name's Jesse Plemons. He's not the guy who plays Jesse.
Yes.
Man, he looks different.
Yes.
Definitely. He's the guy who looks kind of like Matt Damon.
He does.
He does.
Like Matt Damon.
Remember, he was in Fargo.
They kind of ease you in to him.
Yeah.
Like they shoot him through a cage at first, and then they show his appearance, but he's very different.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
I'm looking forward to
that
seeing
guy looks like J.J. Abrams behind you. Is that J.J. Abrams?
I think, we have J.J. Abrams.
He's in the booth right behind you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's working on Rise of Skywalker, which will be in theaters.
All right. If you guys tune in, maybe we'll get him in the booth. All right, Katie, could you take us through, since this is the Scare Guy show, we're in the middle of Halloween season, so there are a lot of horror conventions and horror film festivals going on. And why don't you tell us about a few?
Yeah, okay, so October 18th through 20th, which is this coming weekend, we have quite a few events. In Atlanta, Georgia, there is Walker Stalker Con. I'm assuming that's zombie themed.
Yep.
And there's also Scare-a-Con in Rochester, New York, and Monster Bash in Mars, Pennsylvania. Then the October 23rd through 25th is Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky. And on Halloween weekend, we have Spooky Empire in Tampa, Florida.
And I just want to clarify, we have been saying that was Orlando, Florida, because for many years past it's always been in Orlando, but now it is in Tampa, Florida this year.
All right, cool. And Florida's another really good place to go if you like horror, because they have a lot of events as well.
Including one we're going to be covering tonight. Yeah. This is right up the road from Halloween Horror Nights, so check them both out.
Do you think we'll have a presence there at the one in Florida there we were just mentioning?
What do you mean?
Will
we?
The Spooky Empire.
Do we know anybody that's going to go?
As the scare guy?
As the scare guy, because we have a Florida team.
Yes, we do have a Florida team.
That we will be talking
about.
We'll
be introducing our Florida team a little bit later.
Do you think maybe?
There's a chance. I don't know.
There's a chance. Okay.
I have no clue on that one.
We should make it happen.
You caught me off guard. All right.
And then we have some horror film festivals. This coming weekend, October 17th through the 19th, Idaho Horror Film Festival in Boise.
I know that Idaho has a film festival. I think that's
great. It's a good place for it, though.
Yeah.
And then October 17th through 24th, so that's a little bit of a longer one.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn Horror Film Festival in Brooklyn, New York. And then October 24th through 27th, we have Nightmares Film Festival in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. We got to see if Jake can go cover that for us.
Yes, we should.
And then October 26th through 27th, Mistress Mary's Horror Film Festival in Safety Harbor, Florida.
Wow, what's up with Florida with all these cool haunted...
That's a really cool name, though.
Yeah, Mistress Mary's. I bet you
lots of ghosts in Florida.
Oh, the oldest city in America is in Florida, St. Augustine. I went on a ghost tour there one time. It was really, really well done. So it's really cool. All right. We are not... Oh, look at there's Mistress Mary pulled up right there on the screen. Mistress Mary Film Festival. That sounds like an awesome place. So next, we're not going to... Sometimes we'll speed through 3 minutes of the scare... We call it the scariest 3 minutes of the week. But we're going to actually talk about a couple of things here because it's kind of cool. And I don't want to speed through it this week. And right before we get into discussing Halloween Horror Nights, which we are about to do, we have just a few things I want to talk about. Halloween Kills, which is the next film in the new Halloween trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Exactly, that's so gross.
Someone just died in the booth.
Is shaping up to be quite the reunion. Several characters from John Carpenter's original Halloween have been announced to return to the upcoming sequel. This is kind of cool. And now here comes another one. Nancy Stevens as Nurse Marion Chambers is back. You guys will remember her. Stevens played the character in Carpenter's 1978 film Halloween, and then the Halloween 2, the follow-up. Remember the nurse she was in the car? Remember when Michael Myers jumped on the roof and the car went driving off?
And H2O?
Yeah,
and
H2O
again in Halloween H2O 20 years later. I should keep reading. But in H2O, remember, she met her fate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool that she's coming back. She joins, here's the previously announced cast members. Tommy Doyle, his character is coming back. One of the kids, Lori babysat. He's now being played by Anthony Michael Hall, which is cool. He's not being played by the original cast member.
I want him back.
I know
he was just so interesting.
We saw him at the 40-year Halloween reunion. He's an interesting character. He got up on stage and started quoting Shakespeare, and people didn't know what to do. So he's just a mess. I love him. Lindsay Wallace, another kid that was babysat by Lori. She's going to be played by original actress Kyle Richards, a.k.a. Real Housewife of Beverly Hills. And then Lonnie Elam, who used to bully Tommy as a kid, one of the bullies, he's coming back. He's now played by Robert Longstreet. And today, just today, if you're watching this on Monday, it was announced that Charles Cyphers is returning as Sheriff Brackett, whose daughter was killed in the original film.
Is this movie a sequel to the most recent one, or is it jumping ahead more?
Well, it's a sequel to the 2018 Halloween, last year's Halloween. So next year we're getting Halloween Kills. So it's a sequel to that, and that which was a sequel to the original movie. So no other movies exist.
It's not acknowledging the rest of them, just like the other one did,
Correct.
right? Okay, gotcha.
Well, can I ask you a quick question about this?
Yes, sir.
So what was the name of the actor who plays the sheriff?
That is Charles Cyphers.
That's interesting because I know someone who's also playing a cop character in that movie in a prominent role. So that might be something going on in this movie where maybe he has an up and coming police officer, partner maybe. I don't know.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Fascinating.
That's really cool. We'll have to talk to you about that off camera, unless it's something you can reveal. But
are we about to break news here on the Popcorn Talk?
But anyways, right now the film is filming in North Carolina. So last time they filmed in South Carolina, in Charleston, South Carolina, and now they're filming in North Carolina. So back in my old stomping grounds. All right, next, for horror fans, the most exciting news to come out of New York Comic-Con, which wrapped up last weekend, is that there's a brand new Evil Dead movie in the works. This is kind of cool. The details are very slim, but the franchise architect Sam Raimi confirmed that the long-running rumors about the new movie during a panel. The franchise staple Bruce Campbell probably is not coming back to his role, but he will be coming on as a producer. So that's pretty
He's got to make
exciting.
some sort of cameo or make him one of the demon things.
Oh, he's going
or
to be
something.
there. I find it hard to believe that he would not make at least a small cameo in the film. So here's another piece of news that Brad, if you're watching, we're going to discuss something that you've been discussing with us. One of the biggest conversations in the horror community right now is the current state of the Friday the 13th franchise, which is kind of in flux. It's trapped in a legal battle between two parties. Friday the 13th writer Victor Miller, he has exercised his legal right of ownership over the story. The director, Sean Cunningham's Horror Inc. company, however, is refuting his right, and they're trying to own it. In the 1970s, Congress amended the law to allow authors to grab back the rights from studios after a few decades. So what's happening is like the writers of some of these iconic, especially in the 80s, these 80s franchises, the writers are trying to get the rights back right now, including the Predator, Nightmare on Elm Street authors. Stephen King has been quietly getting the rights to all of his films back, including The Mist, The Dead Zone, Cujo, Children of the Corn, Creepshow, and Cat's Eye. Do you guys remember Cat's Eye? Drew Barrymore was in that. She was a little girl. A cat crawled up on her stomach in the middle of the night and started stealing her breath out of her. It was pretty creepy.
What's the one where it's like the poster where she looks like kind of like possessed or almost like Children of the Corn?
That's
looking?
Firestarter.
Okay, Firestarter.
That's probably another. I bet you that's another film that Stephen King is
so
trying
with
to get.
Friday the 13th, what about the LeBron James involvement with that?
I'm not really sure. There's some kind of. LeBron James? That's right. He's
His production company, because he's trying to like produce and do different things. Like he was supposedly was the current owner of the Friday the 13th thing and looking to do something with it.
That's crazy. But anyways,
Sounds like a slam dunk.
Chunk. That's right. Anyways, that's kind of
Ben would have loved that one.
No, but Brad has been talking about like how we're either going to have a lot of characters who are like going away and we're not going to see them, or maybe the writers are going to try to franchise them out again or kind of license them out to theaters again, which is going to, I mean, not to theaters, but to movie companies again, which would be great. Especially with Friday the 13th, they've made 12 films. They are one away from having the 13th Friday the 13th, and we have to come back to that one.
I want them to do like just like a really good one.
Don't you wish they would do I wish they'd do a reboot. I hate to say it, but it got so silly towards the end, and Jason's been
They
around
did do the reboot, but that quite wasn't going to where it needed to.
You mean the 2003 with Jared Padalecki?
Yeah.
With your buddy who wished you happy birthday
with
this
the
year.
running tunnel Jason.
Yes, I know. That was just... No, but that was supposedly a
It was
continuation.
still fun, but
I didn't like it much at all.
But Jason vs. Freddy, I was talking about on the last one. I really did kind of enjoy that one. It's just fun.
Yeah. So, anyways, we got one other little bitty piece of news. Have you guys ever heard of the old movie called Maniac Cop?
No.
It's a supernatural killer cop. Anyways, there's a TV series reimagining of that cult classic franchise from Nicholas Winding Refn, NWF. He's the guy who most recently did Neon Demons. He also did
Drive.
Drive.
Ooh,
Have you
it's a
guys
good
seen
movie.
Drive?
Yeah, that's a fantastic film.
So this guy has a really cool, stylized approach to his filmmaking, and it's also from John Hyams from Universal Soldier Regeneration. It's been greenlighted by HBO. It's a TV series on HBO, which means it's going to be pretty high concept. So that's something going to be cool. Maniac Cop is a weird old 80s crazy maniac killer cop movie that is kind of like a cult classic. And let me see. There's a couple other things, but there's one other thing. If you guys are fans of 80s horror, which I am. I didn't wear my 80s horror hat tonight. There is a new documentary called In Search of Darkness, the definitive 80s horror documentary. It is out. You can go to 80shorrordoc.com. It's called 80shorrordoc.com.
One more time?
To find out.
One
It's
more time?
on sale through Halloween. There's Maniac Cop Ryan's pulled up the. Is it?
I'm really curious about this.
Isn't it?
I wish it was Nicolas Cage at the top.
Yeah,
That
me
would
too.
really sell it for me.
Jim, what is the original about?
Okay, let me tell you the regional about. It's has been set in Los Angeles. Maniac cop is told through a kaleidoscope of characters from cop to common criminal. It's a killer in uniform has uncaged mayhem upon the streets. Paranoia leads to social disorder as the city wrestles with the mystery of the exterminator in blue. The exterminator in blue. Is he a mere mortal or a supernatural force? It's kind of the 80s version was nuts.
It's got to be Nicolas Cage.
But I think that NWF, Nicholas Winding Refn, is going to have a completely new approach to that. So, anyways, also if you are interested in that 80s, the 80s horror documentary called "This In Search of Darkness," go to 80shorrordoc.com. I'm gonna. It's kind of a pricey thing, but it's a 4.5-hour documentary split into special Blu-rays. It is not yet streaming, but they interviewed everybody from 80s cinema, like I know that John Carpenter is one of them, and there's a whole list of others. I'll put it on our website so you guys can see it. Anyways, that's something I'm kind of excited about. All right, we are going to now talk about Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, which is, by many accounts, and they claim it is the premier Halloween event in the world. Do you guys? What do you guys think about that claim? By the way, first off,
I mean, I haven't been to all of them, so I don't know.
you haven't been to every one of the world?
No, so that's a hard statement for me to be able to agree with.
But Katie, you've been this year to the Hollywood version.
Yes, correct.
And Cheeseman, Hollywood.
Yes.
All three of us up here have been to the Hollywood version. We have a couple of videos we're going to show about the Hollywood Halloween Horror Nights, and we are going to start with this is us entering Hollywood Horror Nights. Let's go ahead and run the video.
Hey, it's Jim.
And Cheeseman.
Cheeseman, and he's off the couch. Look where we're at, Universal Studios. We're here at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood. And this is our very first night, and we're gonna take a run at some of the houses. We got the special pass where we can come back on Thursdays and Sundays. So we will be back Sunday. He's wearing that shirt.
And they're playing the song.
Oh, as the music's playing. You can
See?
Hear it? Wait, let's turn it on. Let's turn it on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Look where we're at.
I get to do that maze.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Not too crowded.
Good night, booze and goons, and welcome to
my
Halloween
ET
Horror
finger.
Nights
Anyways, so we're going through all the mazes. We're going to go through some of them tonight. We'll be back in a couple nights on Sunday. But anyways, it's going to... That's his way of saying shut up. It's time to go in. All right, we'll see you guys inside.
I must say,
I just hit you.
Sometimes it's a lot. It's the biggest challenge of doing these videos is surviving Luke Cheeseman. But
he kind of forces me to do them.
so
half the
we
time.
got a special pass for those of you here at Halloween. We got a special pass where you can go on Thursdays and Sundays all the way through November 3rd, which is great because you don't have to rush through all the houses. But I do have to say, on our first night, I think we did almost all the houses. Luke, right? This is part of the show. You respond to me.
Yeah, I'm also talking to our guests who have questions.
Okay, I'm
on
so
the
sorry.
thing.
But we almost went through all the houses, but we have our next video we're going to show is where we kind of reviewed all the houses on the lower lot. And this one's a little bit longer, but Katie, before we get to it, what was your favorite house at Halloween Horror Nights this year?
Halloween Horror Nights, I think I went with Us is what I was telling a lot of people. Now, I have not seen the movie yet, but I definitely do want to see the movie, but I thought that maze was absolutely fantastic.
You got a lot of
It
strong
was very,
reviews.
very dark for one. Like, you could not see well. And there's the part where there's like fun house mirrors going on, and you have no idea where to go. Like, so you know how when they cut the line and like they hold it for a little bit, and then you walk in. Sometimes it's the first group, next group, so there's no one in front of you. And then when we went through Us, that's what happened. And so I ran into like a window, a mirror, because I had no idea where the walkway was, because there was no one in front of me to show me where to walk. So I definitely almost it felt more like a maze to me too. So
yeah, and I love they still had the music from the movie, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Did you today Universal Studios released a short 45-second video of the cast, the kids from the movie Us going through the maze, and it was so funny to watch them going through. It was a lot of fun. So we are going to. This is me and Luke Cheeseman. This is our first night of Halloween Horror Nights, and we have a couple things to review. If we can go ahead and run this video.
All right, this is Jim.
And Cheeseman from Jurassic World.
Anyways, we just got off the Jurassic World ride. It was fantastic. This is the first time I've done it, and we did it really cool because how?
Single riders.
Yeah.
You go right in. At least during Halloween Horror Nights, you can can get right in.
Speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, we just got done doing 4. How many did we just do? 3?
Three in the bottom level. We did Ghostbusters, we did Frankenstein vs. Wolfman, and we did Creepshow.
Yeah. And then we did this really cool haunted maze. This scare zone called...
Scare Zone, which felt like another haunted attraction.
It was called All Hallows Evil. It was themed after, I think, the old movie called Haxan, which is kind of a weird movie to theme it after. It's kind of creepy, though. Anyways, what do you think of the 3 mazes? Okay, Creepshow, real quick. What do you think of Creepshow?
Creepshow was pretty good. I think it got better kind of towards the end. There was kind of more like scarier things. There was kind of that weird gooey face thing. And from that point on, it got like really good.
Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't seen the movie.
I've seen the movie. It followed the movie right along.
It was really cool, yeah.
Right to a T, especially
there was
like...
some like Wolfman looking type stuff.
I don't
too,
remember the Wolfman, but I do remember all the bugs bursting out of the guy's chest, and I do remember the Stephen King scene where he turned into this like vine man, or this thing overtook him. Anyways,
There's the part that kind of reminded me of American Werewolf in London's scare maze.
no, they used the same werewolf from that maze, the American Werewolf in London maze. So you are correct. So towards the end, it kind of turned into American Werewolf in London, which was cool. That was one of my favorite mazes here.
And it had some of the book kind of characters kind of jumping out as well. Which
Yeah,
was
one thing they're doing here that we've seen tonight over 2 different mazes, they're jumping out from paintings. Like this one, they jumped out of the comic book, and they jumped out of the paintings of the next maze, which was Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, which was
the poster.
Yeah, like they had the posters of them. They would come up. My favorite part of that was when Frankenstein came out of the movie screen, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool towards the end.
Did you go on that one?
There's even parts where you like knew they were probably going to jump out, but were kind of scary anyways. And what I liked most about it is because they kind of made Frankenstein and the Wolfman seem kind of scary again, because the old school Universal did a really good job at that, but they haven't quite seemed to pull it off lately. But I'm hoping that they bring it back.
One of your favorite parts, one of your favorite scares of the night was when we walked through a room and there's 2 slabs. On one slab was Frankenstein and one slab was the Wolfman just laying there.
Yeah,
dead.
it was like Jack in the Box. I knew they were probably going to jump out, but it was still kind of scary.
That was really cool. So it was Creepshow, the Wolfman, and then what was the third one?
Typical brain fart.
Ghostbusters.
Who'd you gonna call? What'd you think of Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters was pretty good. They had. I didn't think there would be as many jump scares, but there were a few kind of in the beginning where it was like a dark room, and then all of a sudden, kind of some scary ghost thing jumped out. Those were kind of little scary scares that they did, and you saw plenty of Slimer, which was great. And there was, I think, a little bit of water that might have even splashed with
Slimer was sliming
too.
us.
He was sliming
us.
But they did definitely some cool effects, and even what they did with the Marshmallow Man is definitely something you got to check out.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That was probably the best part.
It was like a full-blown
really
attraction.
Beautiful part that they did of that part. But overall, it was a lot of fun, and the line was fun. They showed a lot of kind of like videos and other things.
Oh yeah, Crypt TV was showing on the. Well, I mean,
for the Creep Show, but that one Ghostbusters was showing Ghostbuster type stuff.
Yeah, we were at the Ghostbusters 35th anniversary event, which was over at Sony, right?
Yes,
so Sony
and
Studios.
they showed clips from that on there as well,
which was pretty cool. So, anyways, I think that's all we've done so far, right? Down here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we pretty much just walked around.
It's been pretty cool. I think Universal Studios has done a good job this year. I have been walking a lot. This has been a lot of walking. We're on the bottom.
Hey, Ryan, I think that's enough from this one. So yeah,
we look so handsome from that angle that you're filming us, Jim.
Yeah, I know, down
so
low,
close,
right up our nose like that. It's fantastic. But Katie, what did you think of the Ghostbusters maze? From what I understand, it's kind of very similar on both coasts.
I loved the Ghostbusters maze. You know, you're not really going through it to be scared,
right?
But just to like have the nostalgia factor of the movie and things like that. And I thought it was great. There were a couple of jump scares that I wasn't expecting. Just like Luke said, like I wasn't expecting to get scared, and I did a couple times. So I did like it. I think it was awesome. The final scene, I don't want to give it away, but the final scene is
spectacular.
Yeah, the effects in it, they did a really good job on this one, and really kind of using the IP well, and kind of spending time
and
on
having
creating
the song.
it. Yeah,
because you know that was not like that's some expense there.
That is a lot of expense, and because it is not a Universal film, it's a Sony film, and Ghostbusters is not Ghostbusters without the Ray Park Jr. song.
It wouldn't have been as good if they hadn't gotten the song.
I agree.
But having the song play outside in the queue while you're getting ready to go in it builds that world.
And
And they had some entertainment on the outside too. Like they had the Rick Moranis character
Yeah.
kind of like walking around and
They did a really good job
And
with that,
the car sitting out front. So they kind of, and like we were saying, they were playing like clips and things. So the line was actually entertaining to be in and stuff. So because the lines can be very long, and some people were talking about the chat like just how long things are and they can't seem to do stuff, but. They did do a good job on some of the things of kind of like having things going on that kind of entertain you, and especially that one more than any.
And especially the lines down there. This is the lower lot, and this is not. It's way in the. This is the back lot.
Furthest one
back
to
lot.
get to.
The furthest one to get to, and it's in the middle. It's the back lot. It's an actual working movie studio back lot, which is a little bit different than Universal, which in Orlando, which is kind of a back lot, but it's used more as a theme park these days. But here in Hollywood, you're down in the middle of some very tall backlot structures. It makes you feel like you're in the middle of the city streets, which is really cool. And we went on Thursday, twice. This last
twice
week.
on
And it's an 80s throwback night.
Correct.
But what was also cool, tell them about our experience real quick towards the end of the night on Thursday night. What was it like experiencing those two mazes that we went down to experience?
When we did it again?
Yeah.
Well, I think we did all of them, didn't we?
We did all of them, but like this last Thursday, I did the Frankenstein versus Wolfman maze basically by myself. Nobody in front of me, nobody behind me. Me and Luke
that's the
walked
best,
up to the maze. There was nobody in line. There was not a single soul there. So I thought it was closed down almost for a second. But we went through.
Towards the end of the night, a lot of times the lines get really short. And then I'm one of those people that probably would annoy you where I kind of like try to like look around and kind of take my time through it. Because, I mean, you wait in line for these things. And then once I get in, then I want to kind of experience the scares and not have them spoiled by the person like inches in front of me.
Which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And I noticed more of the snacks and things that they had, because they had a lot of Ghostbuster themed kind of snacks down there, like slime and different things that looked really cool. And just so you know, too, like if you're getting adult beverages, there's a short kind of like moment. You can't do a certain walkway with your drinks, so you have to finish it before. But they do have drinks in that area, and they have drinks
that's
on the
between
other side.
When you're going from the upper lot to the lower lot, there's a small section right in the middle where if you cannot walk down there with your drink. You can drink in the top lot, like Luke was saying, or the bottom lot, but you cannot traverse.
Yeah, so don't
between
grab
the
a
two.
drink by the Stranger Things thing and then think you can just walk there, because you'd have to finish it before.
And I could not finish it before. I just dumped it. And that was an expensive drink to dump. Katie, do you know what the reason for that is at all?
Well, I'm assuming because that walking through tunnel, it's just wouldn't be safe for people, like multiple reasons.
I
Because
bet
you're crossing an active road for one. I mean, there's probably multiple reasons why they do that.
And I wonder if like their liquor license to sell on the lot actually stops right there. That little, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know the specifics, but I'm assuming it's walking.
We were asking some of the security guys there, and they did not know the reason for that either. But anyway, so, and Ryan, you can run this last video while I'm sorry, we're going to just talk over it. We don't need any sound for the last video. It's just kind of like, this is kind of cool. We're seeing right now, this is kind of like the street atmosphere. But look at this creature right here. I think that is terrifying when these stilt
there's
walkers.
the stilts and then the chainsaws as you go in.
Yeah. And one of the things, the big differences is, like in Orlando, sometimes I think they get the atmosphere so much better. But this year at this event, this Main Street Universal Studios got the atmosphere great. And what did you think of this, Luke?
I think it was fun. Yeah, it's not quite necessarily like, Orlando, where it's kind of like the circular route on a lot of it. So, but yeah, they did a good job kind of in that area. And I liked how, like, I don't know if we talked about the one that's the holiday.
The Holidays in Hell. Yeah,
That was the Holidays that was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah,
on the upper lot, because then that kind of continued like the last part with the Christmas kind of went out on the street, and I really liked how they did that. Like that was actually one of my favorite ones they did, just because I like holidays, and then they kind of did
the Leprechaun section was so stinking freaky.
And it was just a lot of fun.
Here's the houses. They had Stranger Things, which was it's kind of like almost the same as last year, isn't it?
If you're worried about time, I would wait to do that one. And if you don't get through it,
there's a lot of demo dogs kind of towards the end. It felt a little redundant, and it was season 2.
Yes.
That they kind of focused on, and I get distracted by some of the openings above, like when it's inside. I kind of almost wish they'd close off the top so you're not seeing the studio
sky
stuff and above you and all that, so you feel a little more trapped in the area.
Okay, so Stranger Things, Us, which you
definitely check that one out.
Ghostbusters, Frankenstein versus Wolfman, which is one of my favorite, has one of the best scares in the whole park. When we were talking about like
the posters and
with the posters, they come out at you and they're laying on the slabs beside you. You don't know if they're going to jump up or not. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which I guess was a great scare zone. It's not getting the best comments as the scariest maze. It's a crazy visual feast, but Creep Show.
Because Pennywise is so scary.
Creep Show, which I loved. House of 1,000 Corpses.
And the garbage.
What about House of 1,000 Corpses? Real quick, we gotta rush through this part here.
The house, I think it was fun. You know, they did a lot of the clown character, the guy who died, you know, recently and stuff. So it's cool that they're kind of. I'm glad he was in it, and that in a way, I don't think they're planning on it. They're kind of paying tribute to him.
Right. Holidays in Hell, you really liked that one. I did too.
Yeah.
And then Pandora's Box, which was, Katie, you said it's a shorter maze.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but it felt a lot shorter to me, but I think it is a shorter maze. But visually, production design was absolutely gorgeous.
Can you describe a little bit what was inside
it was,
there?
Well, it was like a Greek mythology, ancient Egyptian type vibe. Like they had Medusa, who was an awesome, like, pop-out character. And I love Greek mythology, so I thought it was great. And that was an original concept where Pandora was actually a woman and not, like, an actual box. It was a woman, and I thought that was very...
But I love the introduction to that maze. You go into this room, it's like...
And the door that opens?
A giant
door
swinging
opens.
door, and it's like old... It's like almost like a steampunk Indiana Jones room, and you have all these artifacts, and it sets you in. We are going to now... Okay, so we're going to wrap up the Hollywood section. The one big change of Hollywood this year, there was no Terror Tram.
Correct.
There was no Terror Tram. I was talking with some people
Which
today.
I liked.
I liked too.
I really liked the Terror Tram. I understand maybe for resource
I liked
sakes.
that they didn't have it. My bad. Sorry.
Oh, I did like the Chucky thing that they did out the window.
Right at the end, yeah. Did you see the Chucky thing at the
So I
end?
have not seen that because that is only on Thursdays. So if you go on Thursdays, that is part of Throwback Thursday only.
Oh, that's only a Thursday thing.
That and like Beetlejuice being out. Throwback Thursdays is specifically special to Thursdays.
Yeah, the band stuff was cool because they did, you know, the Fast Times kind of themed.
The Fast Times band had a
it's
great...
basically 80s because the kind of overall feel of Horror Nights this year's 80s. So it was just kind of echoing back on that. So.
All right. Yeah. So I think that the Halloween Horror Nights experience this year was fantastic. There's so much to do. So a lot of the attractions we're open to. We're going to talk about Orlando now. Orlando Hollywood Horror Nights, which is I guess you would call it my home park. That's where I kind of like spent so many years. I've been going there every year. I might get emotional here. Here are the mazes that they had. They had Stranger Things, like we had here. Us. Universal Monsters, which was out here last year, so it's there now. They have Ghostbusters, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, House of 1,000 Corpses. They have something called Depths of Fear, which has been getting a lot of good reviews. Graveyard Games, which a lot of people love. Nightingale's Blood Pit, not sure what that is, and then Yeti. So we have a couple of friends who are actually in Orlando, and our webmaster, the guy who produces thescareguy.com, Scott Meir, actually was able to get some correspondence for us. We have our very first review of the Us House from Orlando.
So we just got out of Us, one of the houses here at Halloween Horror Nights.
This is Will.
It was just like the movie. It made you walk through the whole plot of the movie. The end was the scariest part.
Absolutely. Completely. Truly terrifying.
I ran through.
Yes. I was not expecting it. I wasn't ready for it. It always gets me, and
Definitely gets me.
that type of finale. No, it's too much.
He said too much.
It's
wow,
too much.
Okay.
They were terrified.
Yeah.
By the way, this is Will, and I apologize. I don't know his friend's name, but Will actually he also covered last week a new haunted hotel, Dark Horizons, which opened.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was. I saw it on the feed.
Yeah,
so.
on the Instagram feed, he did a really good job for that. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the next one, also that Will and his friend went through, called Graveyard Games.
So we just got out of Graveyard Games. What did you think?
It was very scary. There's a place where it goes pitch black, and so it definitely takes you on a wild ride.
Absolutely. Easily
One of the best houses.
Yeah, one of the best
sure.
houses, if not the best house. These originals that they put out year by year continue to be
Much better and just
wonderful.
People above, people below. You got to look everywhere.
Yes, all the different everything. We don't want to spoil anything. Truly, it's just bewildering to behold, an astounding feat of it all.
What's up?
That guy too. Everybody's scared. Bye. Yeah, everyone's scared, happy, also just enjoying the entire night. Because, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's these originals that are the best of the best.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Fully, by far. If you have an opportunity,
Graveyard Games.
Graveyard Games,
Check it out.
here at Orlando. If not, any of the other originals, because all 4 this year are fantastic, as they are every year. Just do it. Do
All
it.
right.
Do yourself a favor.
Now, that looked like it was located over near ET? Because I see a lot of ET stuff in the background.
I think that's the ET house they might be using. But,
Okay.
But I listened to a couple of different shows, some podcasts, and Graveyard Games is getting the highest marks of any of the mazes this year at Universal Studios Florida, from what I understand. And tell you what, we've got one final video. It's about 3 minutes long. It's hard to hear at the very beginning, but it's kind of an overview of the whole entire event from Will there in Orlando.
So we just completed Stranger Things, which is also all 10 houses!
They did them all.
One day, it can happen. We did it all.
Nice.
What were your thoughts? What are your impressions of Stranger Things?
I really love Stranger Things. I mean, it definitely stayed true to the show, and it gave you a little recap.
What's that
Really walked
music?
through the whole season, and I thought it was great.
Absolutely. Totally. What were your impressions of the entire night?
The entire night, I was very impressed. I definitely think that Universal steps it up with their original houses this year.
Yes.
I mean, as always, they definitely impressed. And then I think that all of the movies and shows like really stuck true to, their nature.
Oh, absolutely. The movies that they're based off of and the shows are incredible. The level of detail that Universal Orlando keeps putting into all of their houses, bar none. Incredible. You can find small details in the minutia of it all. It's amazing.
Everywhere you're looking, you're going to find something. If you are a fan of anything that they have to offer, and if you're not, you're going to find some new things that you might want to check out.
Totally. If you had to name your favorite house of originals and of ones that they're licensing, what would it be?
I would say for the original house, probably the Graveyard.
Okay, Graveyard Games. Love it.
Games
Yeah.
was fantastic. And, Yeti was like a close second for me for that one for originals.
Fair. Yeti was incredible as well.
I also, even though it wasn't super scary, Ghostbusters, really stayed true to, the original movie, and I just was a real big fan of that.
Totally. No, I would say that personally, Graveyard Games, as well as I love Nightingales. It is terrifying. It is dark. You have no idea what's going on. It smells. It's those small details that truly give it its nature and character. Of the other houses that are licensed, I'm always partial to Stranger Things. Sorry. My name is Will. I love Will Byers.
Where's Will?
And where's Will? He's in the wall. He's in the wall. So I'm just.
Us is the close second.
Oh my god.
Us, it scared the crap out of
Us
me.
was great. Oh my god. Especially the last part. We don't want to give it away. It's so good.
Very scary. Ran through.
Scary, terrifying. Yeah, we both were like, oh no.
Very scary.
Yeah, can't do it. Similar to Graveyard Games. Similar in a aspect of all of it. You're like, oh no. Running.
Just run through.
To the
Run
end.
all the way.
Also,
Cover your face.
I have to give my close second would be Universal Monsters. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm also a huge fan of all the Universal Monsters. I can't say enough. It's fantastic. I love it so much. Surprisingly, of all the Universal Monster rooms in that house, I gotta give it up to Phantom of the Opera. Honestly, I had no idea, but also terrifying the way that they work mirrors, the way that they work projections, all of it. Every time scares the hell out of me. I cannot run out of that house faster.
It's a new experience every time.
Truly. But until next time, Have a good night.
Stay scared.
Stay scared.
That's right. Stay scared.
Stay scared.
So as we
we should use that. Yeah.
As we are coming down to the end of our podcast tonight, guys, you've never been to the Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. Cheeseman, you have.
Yes.
Thinking about the two, and we've been to it. You've been to it many times. I've been to it about 20 times. What is your opinion on comparing the two?
Well, I was talking earlier, I like kind of the circular feel because it kind of feels like it unifies kind of like everything. Seems a little kind of like, I mean, everything's not like in the circle loop, but like in Hollywood, you're going up and down, you're going like, it's a lot, you have that like never-ending escalator kind of thing, but I kind of like how everything's kind of closer. And then with the scare zones, they kind of seem to be kind of in between things, so... And we've talked about, like the drink things are like everywhere, and you can take it in
you're
line,
talking about Orlando.
or even in Orlando, and everything. But I think Hollywood's getting a lot better. But yes, I still would say I prefer Orlando over Hollywood, but it is getting better in Hollywood.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do prefer the Orlando experience. I think it's because the Orlando experience. I think this is the 29th year for Orlando, whereas here in Hollywood they took a break for a number of years, so it's only been back I think for 8 years now, if that long.
I can't remember, but yeah,
it's not even that long, I don't think. So yeah, they took a break, so they're kind of building back up their program. I must say the Hollywood version has a little bit of charm for me because it's on an actual Hollywood. It's on the Hollywood sound stages where the actual Universal monsters were filmed. It's on the set.
That is cool.
It's on the set where
and
the
when they
Psycho
do the tram
house
thing
is.
too,
Yeah.
like that kind of gave it more.
It's
in my
hard
opinion.
to beat the place where you're doing it, and I love it. I actually love the Hollywood version. My heart is within Orlando because I kind of grew up going to that one, and that one is one that I think that Orlando one, because they are built as a theme park complete, they just have more space to do stuff, and they have more experience doing it, and they also have a cool nighttime show which we haven't seen yet, where they have all the monsters, and it's projected on water screens out in the water, and everybody says it's something really cool to experience. Anyways, so
the world of monsters.
The world of monsters. I would not put a thumbs down on either one of them. I still think that these two attractions, these two theme parks, they provide the premier experience for Halloween haunts in the country. You're going to find other places that might be a little bit scarier, might be a little bit crazier, a little bit wilder, but as far as consistent level of scares and crowd service, you're not going to be.
And the fact that you get some of the rides with it too, because like people in the chat here are talking about, well, I can't quite get through it all in one night, but it's definitely one that's worth getting like a multi-day pass, because you could do some of the attractions one night, you could do a few of the mazes, you could go kind of redo some of the ones you like. So it's definitely one, or like I've talked about too, sometimes late at night you can get a discounted front of the line pass, so like you can kind of experience some quicker kind of lines things.
And as a tip, you can get your front of the line pass before you go, and it's kind of pricey. It's not. It's like what, $70 or $80 to get that front of the line pass. But if you wait until
more in Hollywood, I think.
In Hollywood, it's more expensive. But if you wait till 11 o'clock and you get that pass, it drops to like $39. So, and you can go through all of them. You can probably get all of them with that front of the line pass.
Like I think it was like 40 before in Hollywood, and then I think it was like 60 in Orlando. Though it seemed like it was more there.
Oh, more in Orlando?
It seemed like it, but. Yeah,
I'm not really sure. I have to look online, but
yeah, don't take the
and Katie, we do have to wrap. But any kind of advice you have for people to get the best experience out of Halloween Horror Nights here in Hollywood?
Just follow the
yellow brick road.
Hit each area in order. Don't like go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You will not get through everything.
I agree.
So hit the furthest stuff first, and then work your way up.
That's a
my
good point.
advice.
Go all the way to the end, because the parks start, like you said.
Yeah, with the lower lot too, like that middle part of the night, it's just like crazy,
you
like 2 hours. But if
farthest
you do it towards the beginning and then go back up, yeah.
So yeah.
And same thing in Orlando. In Orlando, just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know my advice. It's so much bigger.
Go towards the back and then work.
Work yourself up.
Yeah.
Anyways, we will have a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, a lot of more advice on our website. We do have to wrap up tonight. We kind of run out of time, and
get the corn dogs.
Get the corn. I didn't like the corn dogs, but I liked everything else.
Well, in Orlando, but the Hollywood ones.
The Hollywood corn dogs are amazing. Those are so good. Anyways, guys, let us know what you think in the chat. Let us know which theme park that you've been to, which one you've experienced. We would love to hear what you guys have to think. But for us this week, that is all we have. We are wrapping up right now. This is theconguy.com and thescareguy.com. We're part of the same website, but thescareguy.com. Really appreciate you guys watching tonight. You can find me at James D. Fry. You can find us everywhere online at the Scare Guy. Oh, so much to say.
Hi, I'm Katie. You can find me on social media at KT_Christine. Also on the social media for The Scare Guy or on the Batwoman After Show at 10 on Sundays.
Be watching her.
You can find me on Twitter at CheeseOnCouch and also on thescareguy.com. Check us out on our Instagram page or Twitter. We all post on kind of like different things.
Yep.
So we're posting stories, different things. So keep an eye on what we're doing.
Yeah, we have a lot coming up. And also be watching this, be paying attention to the Con Guy. A lot's been happening this week. Tickets went on sale this week for returning registration. The next one's coming up soon. But anyways, stay scary. We're in the middle of Halloween season. This is the best time of the year. See you guys later.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.